Monday morning, you all. How are you all doing? Happy Monday. This is your girl, Shan. I do apologize for my tardiness. I don't know what was going on. Facebook would not allow me to go live from our business page. However, here I am. Thank you, Lord. So y'all know I'm going to go ahead and I am going to give y'all our announcements. So first up, tonight's show, Marriage Mondays with the Kings, tonight at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on KRG and 98.5 FM The Rock. What we are going to do is we are going to have 3 guests on our show, young adults. One from California, one from Texas, and one from Iowa. So 2 females and 1 male. What we're going to be talking about tonight is just interviewing the young adults to see, you know what I'm saying, how they feel, what are their thoughts when it comes to marriage, because it seems like things are shifting. So if you would like to listen to tonight's show, go to our webpage, www.marriagemondayswiththekings.com. You can hit the listen here tab and it'll take you to our podcast. It'll take you to the radio station page if you want to listen live, or if you want to watch it live, we should be going live from Facebook and our YouTube page, Marriage Mondays with the King. So, good morning, Natasha. Good morning, Ursula. Good morning, Jimmy and Karina. Good morning, Delisha. Now, let me go ahead and get into today's little message that God gave me. I will warn you, it is a very touchy subject, okay? So, number one, I'm not trying to be messy. I'm going to say that. I'm just being real and I'm being honest because I'm seeing this all too often. So, I'm not trying to be messy. So, that's number one. I'm going to talk about something, but I need you to hang through number one to get through number two. And number two is place the blame where it belongs. So, today's title of the little topic that I'm going to be talking about this morning is, why is it that the children have to suffer because of the parents' actions? Now, I know that topic can go so many different ways, right? But I'm gonna talk about one thing. Y'all let me know and make sure that I'm not the only one that has ever seen this, know somebody who has been through this or dealt with this. But I'm going to be speaking, good morning, Auntie Carla. I'm going to be speaking behalf of children, okay? Now, and I know this is not just a black thing. I'm not trying to make it a race thing. I know this happened in other ethnicities as well. But have you ever been to a funeral and that's where you find out that you have extra family members that you didn't know that you ever had? I'm asking, have y'all ever been there? Have you ever, do you know, like in your family, are there features that you have in your family, facial features or anything where you like, oh, that's a Brown, oh, that's a King, oh, that's a Martin, you know what I'm saying? And so what I mean, and I'll give a good example. So on one side of my family, my daddy's side of my family, everybody have this, what we call the Martin nose. It's a wide nose. Everybody got it. And if you have it, 9 times out of 10, you are a family member. On my mother's side of the family, high cheekbones is what's real prevalent on my mother's side. And so I'm going somewhere with this. But have you ever got to a funeral? And I'm going to use myself as an example. I ain't telling nobody's business. I know, we're counselors, but we're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? This is straight personal. And you sit up and you like, because this is how we do it. Y'all may not. So you sitting there and you get to the part in the funeral, and I know this is a sad thing to be talking about right now with the COVID, but follow me. You get to the part of the funeral where they say, this is the part where we'll allow people to come up and give 2 minutes of comment, and then you got somebody trying to preach a whole sermonette, and so you like, okay, this is bored. Okay, why don't she sit down and shut up? Okay, and then you just start looking around. This is what I do. I start looking around, and I'm like, wait a minute. Who is that? Now, I know my family, but I don't know who that is. And I'm going to tell you what me and my family do. We get to talking with our eyes. And we looking like, and I'm like, you know what I'm saying? And they shaking their head like, yeah, that's your family. Okay, how? See, this is the thing that's very frustrating to me. And I can't believe that it still goes on this day and time. I understand we as grown folks going to do what we do or whatever. We cannot go back and change the past, but why is it that children have to suffer? And what I'm talking about right now is when you have children who are kept a secret from the family. They're kept a secret from their other siblings. Why is it that this set of children over here get treated different from this set of children? I don't get it. Why is that still going on? So I do understand back in the day you had the older folks, you know what I'm saying? That ain't none of my business. I ain't telling whatever. And it's very funny how that ain't none of my business for me to tell, but yet you go and tell everybody else's business. The reason why I'm talking about this is not so much from the aspect of putting people's business out there, but what happens to the child. We sit up and we wonder why children act out. We sit up and we wonder why children are broken and whatever the case may be. But ask yourself, how would you feel? Because number one, I believe secrets are not of God. I'm just going to say it just like that. And that's why me and my husband tell our story. We share our story because nobody can ever hold anything over our head. Nobody can ever blackmail. And if you come and you to us and you ask us, what? You know what I'm saying? Come to us and ask. Go to the source. But it hurts me when I see a lot of broken children who grow up to be broken adults because of the void that is felt because ain't nobody talking or saying anything. Why do you need to be a child to go to a funeral to find out that you got a whole different set of family? Why is no one talking? Why is it so hush hush? And this is what I ask the generations, the future generations. This is what I ask of you. Let's change this whole scenario. Let's change this whole dialogue. Okay. And so I'll give a good example. Like I said, this is family. I give a good example. But you have a male who was married to his wife. This is a good example. I ain't trying to spill nobody's tea. Like I said, family. A male that was married to his wife had children with his wife. The wife stepped outside of the marriage. She cheated with one of his good friends that happened to be his co-worker. Okay? This went on for some time. When the husband found out, the husband was hurt because he getting up doing what he's supposed to be doing, taking care of his family or whatever. So the husband was hurt. And so what ended up happening is they end up getting a divorce. The husband, move on a little bit. He get remarried. But the children, let's talk about the children. So the wife never put it out there. Well, the reason why your daddy left is because I cheated on him to this day. You hear me? To this day. And these children are grown. That's the reason why your daddy left is because I cheated on him. No, what she did is she put in the children's head that your daddy abandoned us. Your daddy picked another family to be with. Your daddy da. So I'm talking to the bitter women. You see what I'm saying? When you women, because that's a straight trifling move right there. And if anybody gonna tell the truth, it's gonna be your girl Shan. But what happens to the children? The children are led to believe that their daddy's trifling, that their daddy abandoned them, and never know to this day that the mama was the one that stepped outside of the marriage and cheated. Okay? But the children are broken. And so let me tell you what happened. The children grew up to have a hate for their biological father because number one, they see you go over and you get remarried and you taking care of these kids over here and you not even taking care of us. But the mama led them to believe that he abandoned them. Now I know this is just not my family. I know a lot of families that's probably dealing with this same situation scenario, whether it be the husband or the wife. You see what I'm saying? But the children. So what happens is the father passes away. The children arguing, fighting, fussing and everything, threatening to kill their step siblings and all this other tomfoolery is going on, which is definitely not of God. But the mama is still sitting up there allowing her ex-husband to go to his grave. Come on, somebody. Because you don't want to tell the truth to say that you was out there being a gardening too. Hey, this is a Monday. I know, but you know your girl, she ain't gonna bring it if you come on her. But the children, okay? So the children were robbed of a relationship with their father. The father did not want to out the mom, even though he took it to his grave so the mom could keep her reputation. He never told the children that your mama was the one that cheated and busted up our marriage. See, that's a lot of situation and scenario that's going on. And then get to the funeral and you got these children over here fighting with these children. I need, especially if you're a young adult, if you my age, and I need somebody to get to changing the scenario. If you still breathing on this earth, somebody need to change the scenario and get to talking. What is wrong with children learning the truth? I understand that children, you can't feed children stuff when they little because they don't know how to handle it. And I know even with my son, when he was asking questions about his biological father, I would give him a little bit that he can handle on his level and say, baby, when you get older, we'll have a conversation. And then he was a teenager. Baby, when you get older, we'll have a conversation. And so when I felt that he was mature enough to handle the conversation, at that time he was 17 years old. He asked me again. I said, baby, sit down. Come on, come to the table and sit down. Mama gonna go ahead and tell you the truth. But after I told him my truth, this is what I told him to do. Go and have a conversation with your biological father. You let him tell you his side, whatever that may be, and then you sit up and you determine, you make that determination of what the truth is. And see, that's what's happening. Let me tell you what's happening in point 2. Because number 1, I know it was a little messy. But point 2 is this. We need to start placing the blame where it belongs. Okay? I ain't trying to be mean. We need to start placing the blame where it belongs. But in order for that to happen, some truth needs to come forth. Some truth need to be told. So let me talk to the older adults right here. If you have somebody in your family that's coming to you and they asking you a question, tell them the truth. Well, I ain't gonna say that because so-and-so, they gonna roll over in their grave if the truth is ever told. Would you get to just talking? I'm just saying, because you don't understand, some healing need to take place. So if the parent is no longer living, why would you allow the child, who may be an adult now, to suffer in silence so you can save faith for the individual who is in the grave? They're dead and gone. Some healing needs to take place, and healing can't take place, like I said, until truth come forward. So I'm encouraging you right now. If you were in this type of situation, maybe you done became an adult and part of your healing is like, I don't even want to know nothing about it. But there are many people who you have a void inside of you. You can't have a solid relationship because you don't trust nobody, because your trifling family, and I'm going to say this because some of y'all are trifling family members, and I pray that God puts a burden in your spirit to where you tell the truth. Because somebody in the family know the truth, but everybody want to keep it quiet, and you just want to tell several people, but you got a whole generation that is affected, a future generation that need to be healed. Family secrets is not of God. Secrets, period, is not of God. I know too many adults that are broken right now, all because their family won't open up their mouth and say something. All because, well, I want to let them have a good legacy. They didn't have a good legacy. Somebody was out here like a whole gardening tool. Can we just tell the truth? And let me tell you what happens on today. See, this is what you got to understand. A lot of these kids, they not listening. They go find them somebody who they think gonna get them some Instagram likes and some Facebook likes and some shares and 1,000 comments and make them Instagram famous and Snapchat and all these other type of platforms, and they go and just jump into a whole marriage. And guess what? They don't know they done married their half sister. They don't know they done married their half brother. They don't know that this is their first cousin. Why? Because ain't nobody talking. Ain't nobody saying anything. And then you sit up and you wonder, why is this child acting out? Because they're asking for the truth and nobody in the family is telling the truth. Now, y'all gonna have some older folks, y'all not gonna agree with me because of the way that y'all was raised. But see, I happen to be in a field where a lot of people, the field that I'm in, a lot of people get hurt. They get hurt and they coming for healing, and they can't get that healing 100% because people are too busy worried about the reputation of others. Why don't you do the godly thing and tell the truth? Why don't you say, why do we wait as a family? This is what I don't understand. You wait until it's too late. Now, these two people that fell in love, these people talking about walking down the aisle, they talking about going to get married or whatever the case may be, and then you want to be like, hold on, let me tell you the truth. See, that's actually your first cousin. That's actually your uncle's son that didn't nobody know about. So they are doubly horrified. They're doubly in shock. You see what I'm saying? It's traumatic all the way around. So the person that I thought that I loved, you mean to tell me this whole time that you knew this was my cousin and you didn't say anything? You knew this was my stepsister and you didn't say anything? And then Scientifically, come on, I got some medical people on here, I know I do, but scientifically, it has always been said, as long as I was in patient care in the medical field, do not marry somebody at least within the first 3 generations. Because I know somebody gonna say, oh, we all kin on her. Okay, Abby got it, okay, but they say at least do not marry somebody within the first 3 generations. Because of the genetic makeup, and how if you have a child together, the child may come out with deformities because the genetic makeup is too close. The match is too close. But how is these young folks supposed to know if ain't nobody talking? Now, I'm here to tell you right now, my family can tell you, everybody can tell you. If I know, and somebody coming to ask me, now I ain't trying to be putting everybody's business out there. Y'all be like, oh shit, you trifling. I go tell you. I ain't trying to put everybody's business out, but I might be like, come here. You sit down. Come here, you sit down. Okay, come on, baby. You asked me a question. You about to hear the truth. Sit down. Get to talking. If y'all don't get to talking, I'm going to get to talking. So get to talking. See, how can our generations be healed going forth unless people tell the truth? How do you sleep at night knowing that you got a whole child over here and you not saying nothing? And that could be husband and or wife. That could be somebody who's not even married, but your kids thinking, oh, this is my mom, this is my dad, whatever the case may be, and then boom, you got a whole child to come out of somewhere. And it's even more devastating to find out at a funeral. Now look, I'm gonna be real with y'all, and I'm about to get ready to go. I'm be real with y'all. Me and my daddy, you know, I wasn't being disrespectful when I say this, because I don't want y'all to think I be disrespecting them. But I have conversations. I ask people, y'all know me, I got questions. So I said, Daddy, I happen to be on the phone with my daddy. I said, Daddy, let me ask you something. He said, yeah. I said, so it's been known, especially on your side of family, the mugs show up to the funeral and it's a whole different set of kids over here or whatever. And so it's been known. So Daddy, I'm asking you this right now. When it come to your funeral, is it going to be a whole different set of kids over there? He told me, no, baby girl, no, I said, Daddy, because I'm the oldest. You see what I'm saying? Usually the oldest is the one to take her funeral arrangements and all this kind of stuff like that. He said, no, Daddy. He said, no, baby, no. I'm telling you. I said, Daddy, I'm going to ask you one more time. Is it any other kids that's going to be popping up out the woodwork at your funeral? He said, no, baby girl, you know, I had this happen, but I lost these kids, and then all I got is y'all. I said, okay, Daddy, because let me tell you what I told my daddy. I said, Daddy, if we get to your funeral, and it's a whole set of kids, I said, when it's time to come view the body and walk around, I'm going to slap you up out that casket. Because you're going to wake up and you got some explaining to do, because I've been asking, and we bust out laughing every time I say that. And he said, girl, you crazy. Daddy, ain't nobody playing with you. If black folks can crawl in the casket talking about they want to go, I'm going to wake you up. You see what I'm saying? If I got to call on the Lord, because I got some answers. I got some questions that need to be answered. So with that being said, now this is it. I promise you, this is my last closing. This is what I ask that we do to change the narrative. Okay? If you do find out about a sibling that your parents didn't say anything about, or none of your family members, please do not come at them sideways. Because this is what you got to understand. They're innocent just like you are. So this is something that I share with my siblings, right? Being the oldest, I said, look here. Because I mean, we all keep it real with each other. I said, look here. I said, let some siblings pop up. And Daddy, you know, Mama, whatever. Let some siblings pop up out the blue. I said, if y'all act a fool with them, me and you gonna fight. I said, as soon as this funeral's over, I'm going to fight y'all. And the reason why I tell them that is because they are not responsible. That other child, that other adult, whatever the case may be, that sibling is not responsible for how they ended up to where they are. That's why I say it is very important for us to place the blame where it belongs. Okay, we'll sit up here and get mad at a sibling that we didn't know of. Oh, they just want to show up because they want some money. They probably got money. They showing up because they just found out, well, your daddy died 2 days ago. What you mean, my daddy? I didn't even know I had a daddy. What is you talking about? Your daddy died 2 days ago and his funeral's in 3 days. What? And then you go, and then you got to deal with that trauma, and then you got to deal with some siblings that's got an attitude with each other. It's time to cut that out. If you gonna get upset at somebody, don't get upset at your sibling. Because they just finding out, probably like you finding out, the way that some families roll with their family secrets. What you do is you allow maturity to kick in. And what you do is you have a conversation with them and try to welcome them in. Even though your parents didn't do the healing. You see what I'm saying? I encourage you do the healing. I encourage y'all get to know each other. That's just like those who you get married. Like, say, for instance, me and my husband, we both came into the marriage with children. I'm not going to treat my oldest daughter who live in Germany any different than I treat our oldest son. I don't give a dog how trifling they mama or they daddy is. And y'all know y'all got some baby mamas and some baby daddies that y'all deal with that is trifling. Because guess what? The child did not ask to be in the situation in which they are in. So somebody needs to be mature, especially if you find yourself in this situation, and be there for the child. Because children deserve love. Children deserve attention. Children deserve respect. And most of all, children deserve the truth. So I'm not going to cut off my stepdaughter, if that's what y'all want to call it, just because her mama may be ignorant. You know what I'm saying? That hurts the child. So it's time for us to really start changing the narrative. It's time for us to really start growing up. And if you can't be mature enough to do these actions, just face the truth and say, you know what? I'm not mature enough to do that. I'm not mature enough to have the conversation. But what you don't need to do is get an attitude with the next person. All of us, I don't care who we are, we feel better placing the blame on people that we don't know. Place the blame on the people that we do know. One last thing, I promise you, this is my last closing, like the pastors and them say. I do understand the word of God says that you are to honor your mother and father. Now, you getting truth about a sibling, you did a ancestry DNA or whatever.com, DNA.com or whatever, and you getting truth about a sibling that you didn't know about or a cousin that you didn't know about, that's not dishonoring your mother or your father. You see what I'm saying? So you have to determine what honor is. No, I'm getting some truth. I'm getting some questions. I need to know what's going on. I need to know who my family is so my children won't mess around and marry some siblings that they don't know nothing about. You see what I'm saying? So that's not dishonoring. I'm getting so tired of people allowing themselves to be disrespected by their parents and by their elders, talking about, well, the Bible say honor. Baby, get into the word of God for yourself. Get a strong concordance. Exegete the text properly in Hebrew and Greek. Read what it meant when they wrote it back at that time. Don't allow yourself to be disrespected. As long as I still say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir, to my parents, as long as I'm not being disrespectful because they did raise me right. If I ask you a question, if you don't want to answer it, don't scapegoat to say, oh, you just want to disrespect me and dishonor the way I feel. This ain't got nothing to do with you, boo. Get beyond yourself. What this has to do with is the future generations getting some healing. Because I'm tired of seeing generations growing up broken. I stopped going to funerals because every time I went, it was a whole different set of family. And then the sad thing about it is you're like, wait a minute, I've been going to school with this joker since I was in kindergarten. And you mean to tell me y'all knew this was my family and didn't even say anything? Really? Really? So, get beyond yourself. That's all I'm saying. Secrets are not of God. That is of the devil. You hear me? Because remember, Adam and Eve, the garden, the serpent, and God still found out. God knows all and sees all. So what we need to do so trauma don't continue to pursue forward in families is we need to have the tough conversations, okay? It's not about your reputation. It's about healing generations. So what do you want to do? Take your reputation to the grave, which is a lie? It's a whole lie? Or do we want to have some godly healing in our generations going forward? Because guess what? Me and my husband's motto for our radio show is helping to build stronger marriages, which lead to stronger families and stronger communities. We can't have stronger families if everybody in the family is running around here lying, talking about it ain't my business to say anything. If somebody come to you, bring the two individuals together and that person that came to you. Either you gonna say something or I'm gonna say something, because this baby, this grown person is hurting right now and some healing needs to take place. So if that means y'all got to go to counseling after this, then do that, okay? But I am so tired of seeing children suffer because of what grown folks do, all right? So join us tonight on Marriage Mondays with the Kings, our radio show, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on KRG and 98.5 FM The Rock. Go to www.marriagemondayswiththekings.com